breathed his last, and great fear came upon all who heard it. The young men rose up and wrapped him up and carried him out and buried him. Verse 9, the second part. Behold, Peter says to Sapphira, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out. Immediately, she fell down at his feet and breathed her last. The young men came in, they found her dead. They carried her out and buried her beside her husband. And great fear came upon the whole church and upon all who heard of these things. I wonder what those young men were thinking. They see Peter struck down dead, deceiving or attempting to deceive the Lord. They carry him out, and for 3 hours they are burying him, digging the hole, putting him down, covering him. They come back and they just walk into the room, and his wife falls down dead, and they don't miss a beat. They just scoop her up too. Go right out by that fresh grave and bury her too. Write this down. You cannot consistently lie to God and live. It's an understatement to say that lying to God is unsafe. The text says it's deadly. God disciplines those he loves, and he does so that we might participate, the writer in Hebrews says, in his holiness. So that we might be pure with him as his people. God cares more about the purity of our lives than he does the length of our lives. He cares more that his own character be reflected in his people than that his people should have houses and land and proceeds. It's purity, not proceeds, that God is producing in his people. And notice something. The effect of discipline, the produce, the outcome of God's discipline of his people, purging his church, producing purity, the effect is reverence. Verse 5. And great fear came upon all who heard it. Verse 11. And great fear came upon the whole church and upon all who heard of these things. You see, most people today think that discipline and the practice of church discipline is somehow something that retards the respect that the church gains in the world. They think that discipline and the practice of discipline somehow brings the church into disrepute. Now let's be clear. The bad practice of discipline brings a bad reputation. But the biblical practice of loving correction, the biblical seeking after purity in the church, conformity to the character of God, God's economy produces awe, produces worship, produces reverence, it produces the fear of the Lord.